Welcome everybody to episode 2.
Yes, two. We could have filmed like 4 by now.
We have recorded through 2 different podcasts, and the first one recorded only the first 5 minutes of it. We did the entire hour and a half. Didn't realize the camera wasn't on. It was on. It's just my memory of my phone complete right now.
Yeah.
So I have 256 gigabytes in my phone, and it reached that limit.
Yeah, man. We finished our coffee. My coffee's done. He's refilling his, and I got my guy in the water. So let's get it, man.
So yes, welcome to the podcast. We have improved some things. I heard some of your comments. We got rid of the microphone on the chains. I know that the audio was a little bit tough on the first one, so we're improving little by little. Every episode, we're gonna try to get better,
right on,
little by little.
Let's do it.
But let me introduce our guest.
Yes,
this is Brian Cabreras with Cabreras Clasicos. He has his own clothing brand. It's a soccer niche.
Yes.
And you said it goes Mexican heritage?
Yeah, so it's Mexican heritage. Obviously, I have a shirt that has nothing to do with Mexican heritage, but it does go through a lens. So the way I see it is, this is kind of my interpretation of the things that I see. And that's my interpretation as a Hispanic. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I like doing a little bit of everything. I do say my biggest niche again is the Mexican community, so that's why most of my other shirts, which we'll show in a bit, basically showcase that. Okay. So 100%, mainly I would say that's what I'm known for. 100% is the Mexican culture, and any design that I make that's to do with Mexico I think that's what's my signature right there.
So I didn't even ask you in the first podcast, but it's why soccer, and what does it mean to you? Who was your team? Was it Mexico international team? Because that was always been mine. Yeah. My family's Cruz Azul for sure.
Oh, there we go. No, so this is heat right here, right? So I'm an America fan. So, but I love soccer. That goes everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm an America fan, and I like Barcelona a lot. Those are my 2 top teams, America and Barcelona. So yeah, I just started playing soccer at a honestly late age 13. A lot of people start at the age of 7. So I 7-6. And I legit had to work to get to the point to then start playing in high school, get into a varsity team, and then I just wanted to go pro. That was my intention, but obviously it didn't work out, which I'm glad because now I have my brand. But I always knew that I wanted to do something within that niche of soccer. I don't know what it is, but I wanted to contribute to that community in some way, shape, or form. I just had no idea that it was going to be through shirts.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, started playing. Didn't know what I want to do. Took some classes on photo editing, Photoshop, designing, videography as well. And didn't take it as serious because soccer, that was my thing. And yeah, man, that's what got me into slowly that niche and brand.
So let me ask you, obviously you have a passion for soccer, and I feel like everybody that starts a brand should have a passion for the niche that they choose to do. But do you remember when you fell in love with would you say that you fell in love with clothing, or why did you fall in love with design, or did you fall in love with making a clothing brand? Why the clothing brand? Why clothing?
So it's kind of weird because I feel in my opinion, unless you really love the industry, then I feel especially the clothing, the apparel industry, you get those people that really love it. And that's always good, obviously, because then the more you know, the better, right? What goes behind the shirt, how it's made out of, how they make it. But for me, honestly, I'm going to be straight up. I never had any interest in shirts at all. Didn't really pay attention in terms of what it took to make the shirt. Obviously, 100% cotton and stuff you see, but it wasn't just consuming. That's all I wanted. I saw a shirt. I didn't care too much about the shirt, but what the shirt had on. Yeah. So it's mainly that's what it kind of was always for me. Obviously, now that I'm a brand owner, it's a little bit more than that now.
Yeah, more
and you have to. Yeah. But during that time, no, I just saw it as a platform. So designing was my first thing right there. My first love everything was soccer. That was the number one thing. And then I feel like the apparel industry was a platform for me to showcase that and take that there.
So the clothing brand was a showcase or a platform for you to show your designs.
Yes,
I think probably in the same page.
Yeah,
design was for sure my first love, and then it was like, how can I put my designs out to the
out to the
world?
world. Yeah.
And then clothing just so happened to be that.
Yeah, exactly.
Avenue.
That's how it turned out for me. And obviously, as you do that without knowing, you get more into the process now. So then it's like, what is that shirt made out of? How can I make my own shirt? You know.
Yeah.
But it's a whole process, and then once you're in, if you love what you do, you're gonna end up knowing more things that you probably didn't really care about, like when you first started. So yeah, I mean, started just teaching myself how to design, and from then it just became a hobby. After high school, didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew is I really love soccer, so I continued playing that, but didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I always knew there was something more I could be contributing to, just didn't know what. So just opened my laptop again at home, started designing posters, and then just editing photos of like people. Like I really like the idea of like taking my camera, because I had like a Canon, a Rebel T6. So I always liked the idea of high quality photos.
Yeah.
Always high quality photos. That was my thing. I like photography. I like taking photos of myself wearing like nice fits, and I think that's where it started transitioning into soccer, and like having my own brand, because I like to really represent myself in fashion. I just didn't know that I can do it with making my own stuff.
Yeah.
So once I started taking photos and of myself, then I started designing and just being more creative. And I remember just opened up my laptop, started designing, and like we were talking about earlier, went through YouTube and started like searching things like because as I was following clothing brands, they would post things like really nice like shirts, hoodies, and I saw their design artwork, and I was just like, I wonder how they once I got out of that consumer mindset, I wonder how they make that. So on YouTube, simple question: how do you make a shirt? Like how do you print a design into a shirt?
Yeah.
And just a simple newbie question, right? Just like anyone that's probably starting has that question, which is fine. That's how we all start.
That's a question you should ask.
Yeah, that's how we all start. So we don't know the terminology. We just have a question, and I think no question's a dumb question. So just started YouTubing that, and then just started seeing Photoshop pop up a lot. So I was just like, wait, Photoshop connects to designing.
Clothing.
So then so I was just like, I can make my own clothes. Wait, let me try that. So just started designing, throwing things on mock-up mainly, never really actually doing it, just mock-ups. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I would think it's cool, but looking back, I'm like, I mean, it's a start, and I'm glad I started that, but my designs were nowhere near to where they are at right now, and I know that I can always improve. But yeah, I just started doing that, man. Just started teaching myself how to design, and did that, and then released my first shirt, man. The first shirt that I did was actually, it was before Cabreras Clasicos was ever even made up.
Okay.
It was just nowhere near to Cabreras Clasicos, like totally different thing. And my first shirt was a Jim Carrey shirt, as you know, because you printed it out for me.
I remember that was back in 2023.
2023ish, yeah. And that was like probably like early in the year, like entering the year, kind of like new year, new me, trying to do something different.
That's how most brands start.
Yeah, every year. Yeah, it's probably a good statistic somewhere that most brands start within the beginning of the year. And just went ahead and printed that. Honestly, a lot of people say, "Oh, my first shirt was pretty bad." Honestly, I think my design was actually really nice. I just think that I just didn't have the platform to showcase it.
So let me ask you this. I know I didn't ask you this last time, but it's like, what did you learn from your first drop? What could you give out to somebody that hasn't even dropped yet? What did you learn from that first one?
So what I learned from my first drop is basically to be more understanding of your situation. So understand that I'm just starting off. A lot of the times we have the mentality is that my first job's going to sell.
Yeah.
And that's an unrealistic mentality that I wish I never really had. I wish I was more realistic going into it and try to find the best, most budget friendly for me to start and still get my idea out and have good quality, but also to the point where it allows me to, because when you're first starting off your business, budgeting is everything, because if you waste any single extra dollar, that's an extra dollar you could have been putting in back to your business. And that's the thing that sucked for me, is like realizing I made that mistake. I shouldn't have spent that money, but guess what? It's too late, dude. You already have a stack of clothes stacked up here, and you got to figure out a way to either one, sell them, and if you can't sell them, you got to give them away or try to do something, you know?
Yeah.
I
feel like what people do wrong specifically is when they start at the point where they see their favorite brand is at, and they think to themselves like, oh, I got to match that to be like, a brand, a clothing brand, but it's like really you want to start off small. You want to start off with, for example, DTG. If you wanted to go that route, it's much cheaper to do it. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, but DTG isn't the same as screen
Yeah.
printing," but it's budget friendly, like you said.
I'm considered a DTG brand. So off
He's a
the bat,
DTG brand.
I'm a DTG brand, and that's what I go with.
And how has that experience been for you, DTG?
Yeah. So my first gym carry was screen printing off the bat. Was it budget friendly? No, not at the time.
Yeah,
Not
that
at the
was a
time.
4-color:
Yeah.
blue, gray, black, and white. I remember you had a highlight white.
Yeah, I had to highlight white on it. So it wasn't budget friendly for that specific drop. So it didn't go well, it didn't perform as well. I did lose a lot of money, for my standards at least. And it could have been money I could have been investing it in other ways to grow my brand in other ways. But I was just solely too in the mind that I want my brand to look like these other people and be this big. And yeah, I ended up kind of screwing myself over, but that's part of the journey. I loved learning from it and I grew. So that's the next chapter. Okay, that's one printing method. I always knew about DTG, always knew about DTG, which means direct to garment for those that don't know.
Yeah.
And I would ignore it actually. I would just,
Like whatever, it's just there.
because of the mixed reviews that
Yeah.
people would say. But again, it's like, okay, now I want to be more budget friendly, but I still want to have that same kind of aesthetic, vintage aesthetic. And I felt like anything that was vintage, I saw that screen printing did a lot. I don't know why. Anything that has a vintage design, a lot of these brands, they always print in screen printing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy to me. So I was like, I'm vintage, so I have to do screen printing. So
Yeah.
it was I think it's one of those things where it's very rare when you, at the time when I was doing this was 2 years ago and things changed very rapidly, but it was very rare for you to see like a brand like mine, like do DTG.
Yeah.
It wasn't like rare in terms of no one was doing it, but there was a few people and there wasn't a lot as I see right now. A lot of brands are doing DTG now.
I mean, as a printer right now, I can tell you that I would say 90% of the t-shirts out there in the world are going to be screen printed. And there's a reason why. There's a reason for it. Screen printing is going to last longer. It has that feel to it. But I think this is my opinion. I think DTG is overshadowed by the negative comments, and they don't really talk about how good
it is. Yeah,
it actually is good. I really do like DTG, but I just have that screen printing preference.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I didn't realize. So once again, it was kind of like I was forced to it, but not really, because I could have still spending more. I had a job, I could have been spending more money, but it was like no, like let me make money and recycle. Yes, I'm gonna be investing in it, right? But I want to reduce the idea of like me keep investing and investing, because if I keep putting my money into it, then it's not a business at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, obviously like what I want out of it and what I would like is something you got to push, but at the same time too, like also educate yourself, like compare. If you know it's budget friendly, but you want to look at basically the material, how it looks, get a mock-up. Yeah. Get a mock-up or a sample.
Like honestly, I feel like if you get a sample, like if you don't like DTG right now, and if you're like DTG sucks, it doesn't compare to screen printing,
get a sample.
Pay for a DTG sample that's only $50 on your design, and you can see how it is, and show people. Like I guarantee you, if you show people your design, your DTG sample, people are gonna be like, the people that don't know screen print or DTG, which is 80% of the world, they're going to be like, oh, this is a nice shirt.
And fun fact, a lot of these top brands that are selling you screen printing materials, their mock-up is probably DTG.
Yeah, the ones that they put on their Instagram to
and
promote.
That's what is used. That's what people look at and say, this is nice, I want it. So it's DTG, and like, people are already getting...
For example, this t-shirt, I would, if it was going to go screen print and you wanted a screen printed sample, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 colors in the front, and then whatever on the back.
It's the same colors.
So 4. That's... If it's going to be a jumbo, 40 times 8, $320 for just the setup fee. Yeah. Then the LA apparel would be another $10. So let's just say you're going to average out to like around $350 to $400 for a sample. That exact same sample could be done with DTG for $50. There's the advantage with DTG.
Yep.
Like, and if you're going to do production, like you could easily just go, if for screen print it'd be 24. You'd have to get 24. But then for DTG, you can go 10. Or
for the amount that you spend on screen printing, you could have bought how many samples for DTG? Exactly.
That's a great point right there.
That's all I gotta say.
That's a great point.
That's all I gotta say.
I mean, yes, if you have a brand and you're like, hey, I'm going to eventually go to screen print, great mentality to have the mentality, carry that mentality until you get to screen print.
Yeah.
But don't be like, oh, DTG is trash. I'm never going to use it. There's no benefit to it. There's a huge benefit to it if you're starting off.
100%. And it helps you out. And that's what elevated, I can confidently say that's what elevated my brand.
Yeah.
Because when I started off, I made the WandaVision shirt. Did we show that?
No, we haven't showed it yet.
So we'll show them the WandaVision. The Jim Carrey was the first one. It didn't do well. So then I was like, all right, let me do a different design. Did this design right here.
You're saying this one's a gift for me, right? You're going to give this one?
Yeah, this one's all you, bro. So fun fact, like the Jim Carrey one, I gave them all to my family because I only got like 2 purchases from my mom and my sister. And everything else I just give away, man. It just wasn't selling. So I just rather give it away to the people that I love rather than just having it there. Yeah. And yeah, man, that's for you.
Appreciate it.
That's for you, brother.
That one's before because you went Brian. What was your first brand called?
My first brand was by my name. I always like connecting. Well, my first ever name was Panenka, and then now going even further back, my first printed shirt was the Jim Carrey one, which you printed out.
Yeah, it was Brian Cabrera. Right?
Yeah, Brian Cabrera. But before Brian Cabrera was called Panenka. So for those people that are like struggling to figure out what they want to do, I mean, I changed names 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's part of the journey. Like, I would say definitely if you have time, which I did, I just was like, I want to start it already. Yeah. Like, I'm eager to start, but I had the time. And if you're like me and you have the time, don't rush it. Take the time for the creative process before you even publish anything to realize what the name is and why is it important, why that name is important to you. If that name means something to you, then I feel like that's what you should encourage to put out there. I just wanted something that sounded like soccer because it's kind of funny because now it's a soccer brand. Yeah. And at first I wanted a soccer brand, but then I kept hearing if you do soccer stuff, you're not going to sell any money. You're restricting yourself. But at the time I didn't realize that's called a niche. And to have a niche actually helps you out.
It actually sells more because you're focusing on a community that can wrap around your brand.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to actually sell.
Yeah. And I just kept hearing, no, that's not going to sell. You just have to do a bit of everything. So then basically I started becoming that, started posting a bunch of mock-ups. My first one was The Weeknd. I like The Weeknd a lot. So I did The Weeknd. That one actually was a really nice shirt design that I did. So for the first time for me doing it, I think that's crazy. I'm gonna try to push it out to finally publish it, and that one can easily go screen print. I know that for a fact.
For sure, it's just a one color.
It's a one color.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna look into doing that. Just kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna sell it, but I'm definitely looking into doing like a sample for it, just so I can
just make a one-on-one.
Just the idea of like the first thing that I did and that I released is now out now. Oh, but if I get the interest, then maybe I'll drop it.
Okay, I mean, obviously we talked about it in the first podcast that we did, but like, how long have you had your brand?
I had my brand for just roughly over 2 years. 2 years.
2 years. Let me ask you this: how many followers do you have?
I have 2,500. 2,500 followers and counting. I really want to grow it. My goal is to 10K. I think that's like always like the landmark for everyone, 10K.
Yeah, when you see when the number goes from a number to having just the K.
The K, that's yeah. So I'm trying to grow it to 10K, and I have a strategy on how I want to do it. Getting into that, I do want to announce that 3 of my shirts that I've made are going to be restocking in April 14th, and I'm going to make that announcement here.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, right here. Dream Shirt Studios podcast.
Hey, Dream Shirt podcast.
Dream Shirt podcast. Dream Shirt podcast. And basically, yeah, I'm gonna restock 3 of my shirts, and these are 3.
Do you want to show them real quick?
Yeah, these are 3 of my basically top selling shirts.
Is it gonna be this one?
No, that's the white one.
This one?
Yeah. Right. No, it's not that one.
Not
that one. No, let's see. That one right there. For sure, this one, the white one that was right behind it, the Hugo. So we got this one, the Rafael Marquez. This one's sleeveless, but we have obviously one that's regular T-shirt. And yeah, this is gonna be the Hugo Sanchez. This was my first, I would say, banger. The one that actually did good. I feel like this is the one that set me apart from my competition. So I'm gonna restock this one final time. After this, I know I've restocked it about 2 times, but this is it. And this is the second one, the Hugo Sanchez tee. And yeah, two Mexican greats, icons, and that's why this collection is gonna be called Ídolos. And I'm only gonna release it. It's the other one, the Chicharito. Yeah, and then the last shirt is gonna be Chicharito, and that's a Chicharito Manchester United shirt. So this one right here. So we got three shirts: one vintage black, one regular black, and one white. And I'm gonna be dropping these on the giveaway is going to be live on the 14th of April, but I'm going to drop them anywhere between that same week. And again, after they are sold out, they are done. I'm focusing my strategy on my brand to be a one and done. So
yeah, I want to dive into that, like kind of branding, like brand drop systems. I know it's like a huge thing that nobody really talks about.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do it? Do you usually do like one drop at a time, one shirt at a time? Is that how have you seen your like
so if you want
brand
to
systems?
backtrack it, back when I started, I did one or two a month.
One or two
a month, and it did great. I think it did good, especially for starting off. But I think for me, the biggest thing now is creating a story. Like creating a story, and like, because if you know the game, and if you've been looking at other brands, which I'm sure if you're starting a clothing brand, you already kind of study the game a little bit by other brands. Everyone kind of does that.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing for me is like, and I recommend that everyone is kind of set yourself apart from the competition. Take a step back to like analyze what you can do a little different. And I think starting a new trend is always the best thing, or doing just something different that's probably been done, but not a lot of people do it. So I'm focusing on like collections now. So I want to do collections. So instead of dropping one shirt at a time, I'm gonna drop them all together. So three shirts and one collection, and it allows me to kind of have a collection that has a theme, because now it allows my mind to be more centered on what I'm creating instead of all over the place. I feel like everything that you create has to have a theme, has to match. That way you can create more story with it.
So interestingly enough, like the way I think about clothing, and I specifically the way I think about clothing brands, is I compare them to a lot of like how music is dropped.
100%.
So, like,
100%.
for example, right now, what you kind of did is like you did a single song
Yeah.
for each one of these, and then eventually you're gonna do like
an
album right
Yeah.
now, which is album was in a collection.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's exactly how I see it. And there's a reason why like that pop culture music is literally
They're
combined.
intertwined. Yeah.
That's how it is. And yeah, that's how I see it now. It's like, and it just leaves room for more creativity.
Yeah.
More creativity, and then just like allowing yourself, because I feel like if you can tell a story through your brand, then that's what people resonate from. So that's why I'm dropping these three specifically, because I dropped these shirts at a different time frame each time. So
Yeah.
now I'm grabbing them together and putting them back on one and done. And it basically, the reason why it's these three shirts is because, so anyone that knows Mexican American heritage, to be in Mexico, you almost have like a chip on your shoulder, right? So you have to, you come to America to make a better living, right? But you're taking that risk of like, what if it doesn't go your way?
What if it doesn't work out?
But you took that risk because you said no, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this collection right here is the perfect collection for me to start and bring back, because it just, again, it's three Mexican idols that legit jumped from Mexico and made the leap of faith of going into European, which for a Mexican player is rare. It's rare and it's unheard of. And
I don't know anything.
No, but I'm educating you right now.
I get it. I appreciate it.
It's unheard of, man, and it's almost like you have a chip on your shoulder, like they're not gonna make it. Even sometimes your own raza, your own people, be like, they're not gonna make it. Like, we don't come from that, so you're not gonna make it. So I think that attitude resonates with me, and I know a lot of people, because when you have a goal in mind that you want to set yourself from the rest, it's gonna sound crazy at first. Yeah. When they first left to join a big team, people are like, they're not gonna do it, they're not gonna make it, they won't be able to do it, and then henceforward, they legit have legend status in those clubs. Same legend status that players like Messi, Ronaldo have. And for a Mexican to be in that name, in that niche of those type of names, it's crazy. So that's the reason why I'm dropping it, to showcase that, the idea that si se puede, you can do it no matter what you do. If you want to take a chance on yourself, bet against yourself always. And I think that's the main reason why those shirts mean a lot to me. One, because I designed them.
No.
And then two, because they tell that story. This idea that it doesn't matter if you're from Mexico, because we always got a chip on our shoulder. Whatever you set, you do, as long as you put 100% effort, you can always do what you say you're gonna do. So that's the reason why I'm gonna drop these 3 shirts, man.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I really do like the collection. They have their own, like, they all kind of intertwine a little bit, but they all have their own style.
No,
You
that's
definitely try
that.
to test, different styles for all 3 of them, but you kind of have that same feel.
Yeah, and
They do
that's
feel like a collection. It does feel like
yeah, and
they're a pack.
that's the same reason why I'm dropping it. And I think it's no better way to drop my first collection and bring back shirts. Yeah, man, I just think they all have the same vibe, the same theme, and to have that collection. And again, I think, like I said earlier, all good things must come to an end. And I feel like for me to restock these shirts and finally end it in the way that I know I'm gonna do it, I think it's the perfect way to finally close something out. Because I feel like once you drop a shirt, as long as you drop it in the best way of your ability, it's easy for you to be like, okay, that's it. I'm not restocking
Yeah.
it no more. That's it. It's
As long
done.
as you put in the work for 110%, you're like,
Yes.
all right, it sold what it sold, and
And
I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it
because
because
I did everything I could do.
yes, and I think that's why these shirts I'm restocking them again, and because I want to do a little bit something different because I feel like I could have showcased more, and that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, again, guys, one and done. If you guys are watching this,
What's the collection called?
ídolos,
Ídolos?
ídolos, yeah,
What is it?
ídolos,
Ídolos.
yeah. So
What
it's
is it?
idols for English.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, idols.
Okay.
So yeah, just basically a Spanish version of idols. So again, an idol is someone you look up to,
Of
right?
course.
And for me as a kid watching, it's different when you're looking at a screen and you see someone that's from a different background than you making it. It's like, oh, okay, well, they made it.
No.
But it's a different vibe when you see someone from your culture make it. Because then it puts you like Chicharito was in Manchester United. And during the time when he went to Manchester United, he was also at Real Madrid. And when I watched that, I was like, it hit different, man. It hits
Yeah.
different. It hits more in the core, like damn, like he got a group of people together that normally really want to see them fail because Mexicans can be, it could be very hate sometimes. But
Yeah.
I just saw a group of culture going together and supporting this man to showcase himself that he can be and he can hang with the top people. And yeah, man, that's the beauty of the sport. And that's exactly why I'm focusing on this specific niche, man. And I'm gonna restock these. So again, if you cannot get it this time, like I am absolutely sorry, but this is the time. If you're watching this for the first time, like this is your chance right now to get a glimpse of my collection. And yeah, say that you have a Cabrera Clásico shirt, because after that these are never going to be in stock.
All right. You heard it here.
Yes, sir.
So like, I know obviously you do your own designs. You design everything from you and your scratch. Obviously you didn't go to school for design.
No.
Like, what do you recommend for people that they want to start their own design or start their own clothing brand? If they're scared, they're like, I have no clue what the fuck Photoshop is. I don't know Illustrator. I don't know blah blah blah. Like, what could you say for somebody that wants to really start their clothing brand and wants to be the designer for their clothing brand, like you?
I'd say study YouTube. YouTube is a source that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people think they need to spend a lot of money. And yeah, sure, I had a job and I could have spent that money, but at the same time too, like learn the business side of things, learn every single thing in the business. As you scale up, you can delegate the tasks that you don't want to do and delegate them to people that can do them for you. But since you're at a spot where it's called the grind stage, we're at the grind stage, man.
Yeah. How long do you think that grind stage lasts?
It depends on the individual, man.
True.
A lot faster than others. It depends on where your mentality is at.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I know I'm nowhere near that stage yet, but I know I'm gonna get there for sure. That's one thing I do not doubt myself on.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the individual, on where you're at and where your mentality is at. And that's about it, man. It doesn't really take much. It's all a mental game, really. Once you literally study these things, like I studied Photoshop, learn how to design. I wouldn't say I wasn't no expert, but I would say definitely to the point where I'm doing something right because I'm getting sales.
Yeah.
So once you start getting into that, I remember when I first dropped my first shirt, the America one, the yellow one that we did together. I remember making that shirt because it was the first time that's the first shirt that I started that niche. It was the Club America shirt, yellow one that I did. And I remember thinking once I put that, I'm like, this is a good design. And it almost scared me. I was like, what if I can never beat this? And like, I was just like, would that leave? Because this is the first impression people have of me now. It's like, will I ever beat this? Can I change the game? But that's That's what I feel like. That's what elevated me, because if I didn't put that pressure on me, these other shirts would have never been created.
Yeah.
Because that is good pressure. That forces you to be like, okay, I dropped this. It's getting some type of attention. Now, when people buy it, they're gonna expect more.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, all right, the quality
What's the
has to
next
match
one?
the next
Yeah,
one.
what's the next one?
Yeah.
And that's what pushed me to then start the Rafa Marquez and the Hugo Sanchez, and those are the two that just took me. I think a famous YouTube, I'd say TikToker slash reel maker actually posted them on the reel. They have
Yours?
Yeah, the
Really?
Hugo Sanchez one. Yeah, I don't know the guy's name, but I just know they make a lot of like FIFA content, like soccer content, and they have like almost like 1 million followers.
And he posted. Did you have to pay him or something? Or
No, I kid you not. I was just scrolling on my feed on TikTok,
random.
and dude was wearing my shirt, and I scrolled and I was like, wait, hold up, and I was like, dude's wearing my shirt, what the heck? And I just thought it was so cool. Obviously, I've seen him before, but I didn't really get familiar. I don't know the name. I feel kind of bad, but I mean, still, man, like the fact that like, and it got a lot of likes the video, and then I looked on their profile, 1 million views, a million followers on TikTok, and then like over like 500,000 views, and it was just like a surreal moment, because it was just like I didn't pay this guy to like wear my stuff. Like
Yeah.
he saw it across my advertisement for sure, or word of mouth, and just wanted to cop it. And next thing you know, I'm scrolling and I see him wearing it, and I see a lot of people engaging on like their content or whatever. But the fact that my shirt, someone is making content like that and making it, just inspired me even more, man. So that was a great feeling right there.
I feel like that is like a brand checkpoint where, because obviously, in the beginning you're gonna be like selling to your mom and like your friends and family.
You kind of have to.
Eventually, when you get to a point where you're actually selling to strangers, that's when shit starts getting real.
Oh, 100%.
And when you see your shirt, let's just say outside in public, and you don't know the guy, like it's just a random person that has your shirt on, you're like, that's when you get a checkpoint.
Yeah.
When you see a checkpoint where it's like a random person posted it on Instagram and tags you, that's where you kind of.
That's when it hits different. It hits a little different, 100%, man. Like even my friends hit me up. They're like, "Dude, this guy's wearing your shirt," and I was like, "What the heck?" Like, do you know? I'm like, "Nah, man, I didn't know." But that's insane. And I think it's not so much that like it really builds my ego, because I try not to get egotistic or anything like that or build it. It just it humbles me a little bit.
Yeah.
And the fact of like, because I tend to doubt myself a lot. And I tend to overthink things a lot, so it makes me realize like, no, I'm doing something different, because I feel like for someone to really want to wear your stuff, you have to be doing something different, something that they feel that they can get from person A, B, or C.
Yeah, I mean that's the like the very complex thing about clothing brands. Like your clothing brand has to speak directly to them.
Yeah,
for them to buy.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a clothing brand owner. That's when the first podcast we're talking about consumer mindset, where a brand owner has to change their mindset to be like, all right, this if I was a consumer and I was looking at my brand from the outside perspective, how would I feel about my own brand?
Yeah, and that goes in everything you do. You got to switch from consumer to like a business mindset. So whenever you're consuming content, don't consume it just to consume it. Like actually, especially if it's a brand that is doing way better than you, study it. Like, what did they do? Okay, this got 100K likes. How did they do it? What did they do? And then just apply it. The copy and paste method works for the most part. I mean, I think we all try to implement that, but I said just try to make everything your own thing and just try to be genuine, and don't be afraid to start maybe new trends either.
Yeah, that's one thing where it's like we see something that we really like and we see that it works. It's like we want to copy it, but obviously we want to put our own spin.
Yeah,
but it's like there's a degree where people are going to be like, hey, you just copied it straight off.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely have I see good content and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. But then my mind doesn't let me copy. My mind's like, now you have to put your own twist on it. Yeah. And I naturally put my own twist on it. So for someone to be like, all right, he's not copying.
That's what I always try to implement for the most part. I never really try to like copy anyone's like content or anything like that. But at the same time too, it's like, if you really think about it, like this world is how old? How many ideas have been? Yeah, billions, right? Yeah. And how many ideas have been? It's even if you wanted to stay original, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. You definitely can, and you can renovate, and that's what I always try to do. But there's instances where I'm like, I'm original. It's like we talked about. Oh, I got something original, and then I look and I'm like, wait, someone already did this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like honestly, when you grab, let's just say for example, you grab a design style, but then you grab the design style and you combine it with a certain kind of content creation.
Yeah.
and then you put it on a different blank that not that person used for the
Yeah.
design style, but somebody else used. When you grab these different like four, five different
Elements.
elements and you put them all together into one, that's completely original. I know that
100%.
you're copying off of 4 or 5 different elements,
Yeah.
but at the same time, putting them all together creates
Makes it
a
one
whole
unique
different
piece.
thing.
100%, man. And that's what I always try to implement on my brand. But I always try to. I think the biggest thing, for example, like the 3 shirts that I did for the ones that are gonna come to my collection, like those ones were 100% like me right there. Like, like I legit like just locked in my room, didn't look at anything, like just straight up like envision myself and like how I look at these athletes and how I can portray that in a vintage way, and then it just slowly started coming out. And I think when you have something like that, like finish that, like push that out. Like as soon as you get that, don't hesitate, like push it out.
Yeah.
Because like you were telling me a while ago, you said like ideas are like universal.
Yeah.
So like you think something and that idea goes to someone else and then they actually do something with it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Ideas expire.
Yeah, 100%.
Like ideas aren't yours, but if I feel like God puts ideas out there in the world and he lets you have one, but if you don't take it,
do anything, he's gonna give it to someone else that's gonna do something with it.
Because that shit needed to come out to the world in that moment.
I agree.
He gives you an expiration date where it's like, hey, if you don't do anything with it,
I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna spread it somewhere else.
I know.
That's insane. Yeah, no, I didn't think about it like that, but that's so true. That's so true.
I remember I told you, remember that one hoodie idea with the bandana on the pocket and then like stitching a bandana into the hood and
yeah.
Like doing that. I saw some guy, I forgot, it was like a Lowrider magazine. He did it already.
Damn.
He did it like literally like right after I told you that too. Like a month after I told you that, I saw it on his Instagram feed.
Wow.
And I was like, damn it. Like he got it. He got it.
And you know what? That's actually very smart because like I got like that's one of the collections that I just announced right here. But I got other projects that I told you, but I'm not gonna announce yet. And now, I mean, one of them's in production right now, like I told you. And I had the idea. I was in my head originally. I was like, I'm gonna wait like a month, but I was like, nah, heck no.
Yeah.
Let's start it right now. So I'm gonna get that coming in by April, and I'm gonna push it as well. I'm not gonna hesitate and just keep going.
Because one thing I feel like, as we were talking about this, I feel like a lot of people don't understand how long things take. Oh, and I mean, I feel like if you're trying to plan out drops and you're trying to plan out things, it's like, okay, let me ask you this. How long do you think it takes from the initial, let's just say the day you open or make the new Photoshop file to the day it drops? How long does that usually take in that gap? Of like, let's say like, oh, I want to make a Ronaldinho t-shirt.
Well, it starts off with the design, right?
Of course.
And then once you make that design, then it's about finding the manufacturer, right?
Of course.
And then best believe all manufacturers, unless you have a homie that just started, which is the case won't be, all of them have other people that they do work with. Yeah. So you got to wait in line.
Yeah.
So it takes roughly about 2 to 3 weeks to get the...
But that's from giving it to the printer. And then
so you have to take the time to design it now.
For sure.
And then once you get the design, now you got to hit up the printer, and that takes 2 to 3 weeks. So it takes me roughly about like 2 to 3 days to design something when I'm fully focused. 2 to 3 days. I can make it into one day, but I don't consider, if you want something good, it takes I say 1 to 2, maybe 3 max days. And then the manufacturer takes about like 2 to 3 weeks. And so you're already a month. Close to a month.
So let me ask you, how many jobs or how many like designs do you have going at one time?
So recently I've actually tried to stop that. But going back to when I first started, I did about 3 designs a month. 3 designs.
At a time?
Well, more. I did more. I had a whole, if I show you the file, man, I had
all your tabs in Photoshop?
Just designs. Yeah. Just because I dropped 3 doesn't mean I had more. I always had more. But I kind of stopped that now because this idea of like, don't quality over quantity. Yeah, that's what it comes down to for me. And you certainly don't want to keep making things to the point where now like you're half-assing shit, and now you post it, and now you're like, oh, I didn't get the response I wanted. Well, yeah, because you half-ass shit. Yeah, I can confidently say that the shirts that sold me the most money were because I legit gave my all.
Took your time.
And it's crazy to see that, like, at first you don't think, oh, I can make something and it'll sell. Nah. Every shirt that I've sold, if I didn't put 100% effort on it, it did not sell. Anything that I did put 100%, it sold. So that goes to show people know when you're half-assing work and when something's good and when something's not good.
So let me ask you this. You said when you put 100% in, but what does putting 100% look like? Is it putting 100% of the design and then 100% in content and then making sure the website is completely fine, yes, and then email and SMS? Like what are your steps and how do you?
Yeah, so it's a whole process. I will start off, like I told you earlier, like I have a whole document on Google Docs that exactly I make, and every day I always tell myself what I'm gonna do the next day. So before I go to sleep, that's the last thing I do before I knock out. I make a to-do list for the next day.
Smart.
So I always do that before I go to sleep so I can time myself and use my time wisely. And again, just make everything with purpose. Like, don't just drop a shirt just because you want to drop a shirt. Like, oh, I'm just gonna drop a Jim Carrey shirt just because that's what I did and it didn't work out. No, always ask yourself, what can I post now that is gonna help out people in some type of way or like inspire them? So for that, you need to take time. That takes time. You can't do that in a day. So you have to create a schedule. I would say go out, and it's called creative block when you can't think of any idea. So what you do is go out and explore the world, walk around, go to the beach, get inspired by something, be in the environment that your niche is normally in, and get inspired. And look at Pinterest, helps out a lot too. If you don't really want to go out that much or in public, that's fine. But look at Pinterest and just kind of brainstorm ideas and do something that's a little bit more creative. And then after that, I create a schedule based off of that. After I do that, I start designing, sketching. I do about like 2 to 3 designs. Now my first design is going to be the final one. So I take time in my schedule to create that. After I do that, and I finally got the shirts that I need, then that's when I start scheduling everything else. The manufacture, getting samples. That's one thing that I didn't do at first, and it really hurt me. So you guys can learn from my mistakes. Yes, get a sample. Don't just post it on the freaking mock-up and think it's gonna sell. Like, it does work. Trust me, it worked for me at times, but it's always better when you can show people how the shirt looks like in person and how it looks like on someone.
Yeah.
So definitely invest in getting a sample and getting, maybe like if you yourself don't feel like you're very like model material, get someone like a cousin or a friend to take pictures of. And maybe starting off, if you don't have a camera, you don't need a crazy camera, but I would say definitely look into one for sure. Maybe you can start out by taking with your camera, but if my honest opinion, like that goes back into like, what do I need to start a brand, right? Yeah. And how much money do I need? I say like, you don't need a lot of money, but necessities, I can tell you, you do need a good camera. You do need a good camera. You need good quality content all the time. So going back to my schedule and how I do that, I run the designs. After that, I start putting it on the mock-ups to see how it looks. Yeah. Then give that mock-up to my manufacturer, then which is yourself. And basically from that, then I start posting it and advertising it. Once I advertise it, that's when another thing, should I use Instagram Boost or Facebook ads? If you don't know what Facebook ads, it means that you're probably not too sure of how marketing works. Yeah. So I would definitely say get more educated, but I'll give you a brief definition. It's basically like Instagram Boost that you see on your phone, except it's at a more higher level, which means you could add more you can put your money into different places and different aspects into like, you have more control over your advertisement. Yeah, and I lack of better terms.
Where the interests of your audience.
That's one thing that's very important, is knowing your audience. Yeah. So once you make a niche, know your audience, know the age, the geographic of it, the age, where they likely are, and really understanding your audience. That's a big one. But yeah, I would do advertisements. I would run them. And again, Instagram Boost, I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it either.
Surprisingly, though, I will say this. I don't know. Some of these that sold very well, they were Instagram Boost. So it all goes down to the same thing. Like, people can say all these things, but you never really know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it where I can compare who my new followers from my Instagram Boosts versus my Facebook Business Manager. I would say whenever I do a Facebook Business Manager ad, the audience that I get to follow me are more specific. It's more like the follower that I actually want. I feel like Facebook Boosts just kind of make random followers.
Just give you just
random people.
Like bots?
I mean, I don't know if they're bots, but I mean, they're just super random people that have like weird ass Instagrams. No offense to anybody that ass.
No,
But it's like I mean that was in Dream Shirt Studios like 2 years ago where I saw that, and I'm like, all right, my followers on Facebook Business Manager are more serious clientele.
Right on.
Like, it's more people that I actually would want to print for.
I agree. I think it matters on the. I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is if you have a good product, a winning product. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. But mainly again, I would recommend not. I mean, I'm pretty sure you agree with that. No Instagram boost.
I wouldn't
learn Ads Manager instead. Basically,
I would say yes. Facebook Business Manager is better than Instagram Boost. But I mean, if you're like just trying, let's just say for example, if you never even ran an ad before in your life, just try Facebook Boost.
You can get an idea, feel of how it is.
Because it's much more easy. Facebook Business Manager is more overwhelming because you have to like which one? Do you do conversions? Do you do messaging? Do you do
what is conversions? What does that mean? No, I know what it means. Okay, I know what it means. I know what it means. Conversions means like basically telling the customer, getting what you want the customers to do. So if you want them to get a sale, that's a conversion.
Conversions, conversions make sales. Now, honestly, if you're doing Facebook Business Manager, I would recommend going for conversions. Don't go visit website. Don't go direct message. If you're trying to make sales, go conversions.
I agree.
You're gonna make money, like because when you click conversions, that's gonna go to the people that Instagram has recently known that they actually do purchase through Instagram. Like they have gone through Instagram, go into the link, and then they have bought things. They're gonna show those people.
And then one thing I want to mention is again, like if I was sitting in here having this conversation with you about 3 years ago, I'd have been like, what? So it goes to relate to people again, like I was that one person that didn't know anything. I didn't know what a garment is. Garment is, in other words, of the shirt that you have. So basically, again, anyone can learn these things. Like I am a living example of that. I didn't know anything. And just the idea, sometimes I look back, I'm like, I just had this conversation with this guy about this. If I would have had this conversation 2 years ago, I'd have been like, what?
Yeah. And honestly, I want to say this right now. Like, if you have any questions as far as like FAQs, frequently asked questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll look at every comment and I will answer every question.
He has the time now, man. He just started, so take advantage of
that. I have time right now. I don't know how many views it's gonna get, but like, please ask the questions because I know how complicated this gets. Like the reason I started this podcast was when I was 18 years old. I was exactly like that. I had no clue what blanks were. I only knew I barely even knew Gildan. I barely even knew what that was. I remember I did exactly what you did. I put how to make a t-shirt on YouTube. First thing that popped up was somebody was telling me get an Epson printer.
Oh, why do those videos come
and
up?
And make a transfer. And he pressed it on. I remember I did it. I still have that same t-shirt, but I ironed on a specific paper that I did. I put on I bought the printer. I bought the special ink for DTFs.
Honestly, man,
and it turned out trash.
There's nothing wrong with DTF. If you want to do it, I think it's trash.
I
think it's trash.
The way that you DTF, there's two ways to do DTF. There is using a machine that is specifically just for DTF. For example, Supercolor. Supercolor is absolutely amazing. I think it's great. And there's DTF where you use a DTG printer that's made for DTG. And you print it on film.
Is that the one that you used over there to print it on one of your shirts?
Remember that Bad Bunny tee that I made?
That one?
That frog is Supercolor.
It was good quality.
Yeah, it doesn't peel. Quality. It lasts you however many washes.
That one you shocked me on that one. Once I saw it on the shirt, I was like, oh, that looks nice.
It does.
I actually thought it added it enhanced it even more on it.
Yeah. So and it lasts. The colors are vibrant because what Supercolor is that it's a screen printed underbase. So it's a screen printed underbase.
Oh.
And then a DTG print on top of it. So it's basically screen printed, it's very basically screen printed feel, but it has
that makes sense now to how the final product, how it looked the way it looked.
Like for example, most of the DTF neck tags that you see out there, they peel and they fall off, and it's because it's going from a DTG printer onto a film. Then you put powder glue and you glue it yourself. So for example, I'm sure there's probably some people that have had bad experience with screen print. And they're fuck screen print. It sucks.
I had a couple friends that wanted to start their brand, and they went to that's another advice. I'm glad you said that too. Focus on a manufacturer that has experience in your industry.
Yes.
If you get a manufacturer that you see on their social media, all they have is just screen printing for people that like for work. Like
Yeah, one
if I'm a
color, two
business owner
colors.
and I just come to you that say, oh, I just want some shirts for my workers, and it's
Yeah.
all the content you see, they both stay away from that
I mean,
person.
it's not
Like
even say away, but like ask them to see like a specific
for your
design.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I say stay away because I'm like, if they really like, why would they not have that? I mean, maybe people want to gatekeep, I guess, but
Look, I mean, as a printer, I know that I definitely have boiled myself down to a specific niche. Like I don't want to do. That's why I don't have 25 by 31 prints. Like those jobs are incredibly hard. So it's like every printer boils themselves down to a specific niche.
yeah,
I definitely go a little bit more complicated than a business printer that just does one color
yeah,
logos.
100%.
Like, yeah, you want to, whenever you're going to be with a manufacturer, ask them, hey, this is my design. Can you show me any work
Yeah.
that you have similar to this? And if they do, good.
Yeah,
If they
so
don't,
then there you go.
be
Basically,
wary.
back of better terms is work with people that are working in the same type of shirts that you are trying to drop.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all you got to do. So yeah, that's a big one, man. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I also like experiment with printing methods. Like, I think DTG and screen print and DTF and embroidery, I feel like you should try them all.
Yeah.
In a way where it's like you want to kind of have a good idea of what you can do because you don't really know until you do it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this for your brand.
Yep.
Like, do you have any plans of going away from t-shirts?
Yes,
Or
100%.
adding on?
Yeah, I will definitely say that. Yes, 100%. I think the worst thing you can do as a clothing brand owner or any industry you work in is just stay in the same spot.
So like, don't innovate.
Don't evolve.
Yeah.
Evolve, and challenge yourself and do something. I for the longest time didn't want to branch out and do different things, even though I was highly interested in, just because of the idea that it's a lot of steps. But it's like what it comes down to is what you want, what you enjoy, and if what you enjoy takes a lot of steps, then how bad do you want it now?
Yeah.
That's what it comes. Then the question is, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, yeah, definitely, I do want to branch out and do different things. Again, best believe that once I drop these 3 shirts, I will definitely be slowly starting to do a little bit of everything and transition my brand into a little bit more do something different than what a lot of people do, trying to separate myself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best thing I can do because there's so many ways I can showcase the soccer Mexican culture, and I think it wouldn't be fair to my community for me to just stick to just shirts.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm gonna for sure challenge myself, and I got a project, like I said, that's coming up in April.
I've seen it.
So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for it. Kind of nervous. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, you don't have to like tell too much about it, but like, how did you go? You got a sample, correct?
Yeah, I got a sample currently in production right now, so I'm gonna get the first look. Oh yeah, and then I'll definitely be showcasing that. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel pretty soon as well.
Okay.
So that's gonna be through me, so Brian Cabrera. So that it's gonna be my brand and behind the scenes of my brand, but it's kind of just putting myself more out there so people can get to know the man behind the brand.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I'm doing with this.
Yeah, 100%. And
it's like I want long form content. You know, doing Instagram is such a limiting kind of thing where you have to
100%.
like, you think to yourself,
you can only
right,
show much. You can only show so much, right?
Yeah. And you see, like, if I make a minute long video on Instagram, I'm going to be like, I feel like obviously the view count's going to go down. So I think to myself, oh, I have to make it at 15 to 30 seconds. It's hard to say what I want to say in 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, because that's the algorithm nowadays. It's shorter and the most you can put in a shorter time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, definitely, again, that's what I want to start getting into, getting my foot wet and just putting myself in uncomfortable situations. And
so what do you see for your YouTube channel? What are you expecting yourself?
So I just want to be 100% real and transparent with my audience and then show them who I really am. And like, I don't really want, you're not going to get from me like the type of person that is going to do like things out of my niche to get views. Yeah. Like, this is me. This is what I like to do. This is part of my world. And if you like it, cool. You follow me, that's fine. Like, I'm going ahead and for sure make sure that I give back to those people and give them the best quality content. But if you don't like it, then that's fine too. You know, you have every right. You could scroll and that's fine with me.
I feel like that's the whole point of starting a brand. You obviously want to find your niche and you want to find the people that actually fuck with you.
Yeah.
But you want to make content for the exact same opposite reason to filter out the people that don't like you.
100%.
Like I feel like that's just as important as finding the people
that's
that you want.
that's the reality of it. Just like I said, I'm talking about all the good things, but there's been people that comment good things about me, and there's also people that comment bad things about me.
Sure.
And that's part of the game as well. All I do in my mentality is just basically like stay locked in. Don't let the outside noise come in. Like stay locked in, stay true to yourself, and use that to your advantage. It's like we were talking about earlier. Like if you take a loss and you turn it into a win, did you really lose?
Yeah, exactly.
No, not really.
I feel like Jim Carrey was a loss, but at the same time, I feel like those are the kind of moments in the brand where you do have an opportunity to be like, what did I learn from this?
Yeah.
And what can I do next time? And how can I never do this again?
Yeah.
And I think that's what every brand needs. You kind of have to have a failure.
You have it's there's no way to success without failure, man. Like if I wasn't for those failures with screen printing, and again, it didn't make me change my mind on screen printing or dash it. I will still 10 out of 10 times still do screen printing with my guy right here. And for upcoming drops, it's just I'm more smarter now with what I'm doing with my shirts. If it's not budget to the type of artwork I'm trying to showcase, then I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do something more budget friendly where I can still showcase what I want to showcase and more budget friendly because it goes to everything. It's a business at the end of the day. So it's whatever best. It's a win-win on both ways. It can be budget friendly, but still look good. Now that comes into the topic of, do you want to cheap out? Nah. Definitely, there's certain things you should never cheap out on. I think DTG, that's where there's a lot of like back and forth.
Yeah,
but if you do DTG, don't think you're chipping out. There's brands out there that are selling DTG, and people are consuming it for the price of like $80, $90,
and they love it.
Yeah, most important. That's what it comes down to. There's nothing
wrong. The clients are happy. That's really the only thing that really matters. The people that are buying your T-shirts, are they happy?
Yeah,
that is the only thing that matters. And if you're doing heat press, vinyl, and it's considered low quality, but your clients are happy.
Yeah, and on my Discord channel, man, like I get people that send me pictures of them wearing my fits, and they're like, "Bro, really good quality.
Yeah,
I love the shirt." And honestly, like that's what I love to hear, man. I mean, if I ever did DTG and it was not good, I wouldn't do DTG. That's as simple as that. If DTG wasn't what I wanted to get out of it, I would not do DTG. But because it does help your business grow, there's a reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So again, it's just personal preference at the same time too, and just kind of experimenting. And we were talking about that earlier, like screen printing. The bad thing that they can say for the most part is just it's too expensive. But you were just talking to me about that a while ago about how depending on the quantity. So if you order like more than 50 or a certain amount, it can actually end up being competitive to the price of DTG, depending on how the manufacturer's pricing it at.
Because there's a curve where it goes like, the more quantity you get, let's just say it goes down per unit price. Screen printing will go it's way more steep. Yeah. DTG, it's gonna stay around the same price, even if you get 1 or 2 to 100.
Yeah. So
it just evens out to where like screen print will eventually always be.
So they can get like a simple idea. Let's say I have a shirt, I have one color print, right?
One color print.
And I'm debating between doing DTG or screen print.
Any quantity, I would go screen print.
There you go.
Any quantity. Because I mean, even if you wanted to do one, I could do a one color screen printed sample for $50.
There you go.
There
you go. That's what it comes down to, is just being smart with what your design is and understanding too. That's why it's important to know the different types of printing methods. And that's what I use to my advantage a lot of the times, is I compare price all the times.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I would have, if I was like a clothing brand that I didn't have the print, I wasn't a printer.
Yeah,
I would have a DTG guy and a screen print guy and always ask them both pricing and questions on every drop, and then just choose one that you want. Because some designs you're gonna sell out and you're gonna have 50, and some designs you're gonna sell 20. And you're like, man, should I go screen print? Should I round up to 24, or should I go 20 for DTG?
And that's when DTG really comes in clutch, in my opinion, too, or in general, like, and also too, like the pre-order method too. It helps out.
Yeah.
When you're first starting off, I think that's the number one way to go, to play it the safest. I think that's the safest method. And two, like, just for the people that are afraid of, oh, well, if I do a pre-order drop, like, well, that's gonna have my customers like not buy it. Yes, obviously I'm not going to disregard the fact that it's a percentage that could play a role, but for the most part though, you're just starting off. So it doesn't really matter, and it's not going to impact you in a way. If you make a winning product, then people are going to buy. So if you're worried a little bit about the how long it takes for it to get to you, then talk to your manufacturer about these things and let them know. And again, always look at different manufacturers. And I think that could be for another video for yourself, man. I think to go into detail is like, what are the top things that as a brand owner, when you're getting ready to drop something, what are the top questions I should ask myself?
Yeah.
I think one of them is obviously like, how long you should ask yourself, how long will it take me to get a product when speaking to a manufacturer? So MOQ, we just talked about that, is another one of them. Yeah. I think in lack of better terms, how long I'm gonna get it, turnaround time. That's what it's called.
Time. Yeah, turnaround time. I feel like one thing that I've seen, I remember I talked about this in the last podcast where I've seen many brands go one and done.
Yeah.
Like they just do one drop and they stop.
Yeah.
I feel like what they don't understand is one drop, your first drop can make or break you.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that they could do different ways. I honestly would recommend, if you're starting a clothing brand, I would honestly recommend going DTG first.
Yeah.
100%. And I would say that if it depends on the design, if you have like really a real question, like message me and send me your design, I'll be like, this is how I go about it. But it's like, what can make you or what can break you is paying for 24 shirts that you sell 2 of and you never want to print again.
Yeah.
And that's been a very big case for a lot of people. And I would recommend really just like kind of doing it smart. I wouldn't go anything if you're like really adamant about screen printing, I would start off with a 1 color or 2 color. Like make the design, challenge yourself to make a design with 1 or 2 colors.
Yeah.
Because like I said,
I feel like for me, especially, my bad. So for me, man, it's the basic thing is for me is if I like a design, I don't like to limit myself, and a lot of people probably gonna feel that way too.
Yeah.
If you feel like screen printing is just limit yourself to your creativity, then switch to DTG.
Yeah.
But also to get into the habit of, again, the worst thing you can do is just be closed-minded. Oh, I'm sticking to DTG and that's it. I'm not gonna look at everything else. Exactly. No, still look at other things, but be more smart with it. Ask the right questions, and that's what I ask you all the time. I remember when I first started, I told you like, how can I make it more budget friendly for me to do screen printing? That was one of the questions that I asked a lot.
Yeah, I remember the back of the Rafa Marquez. I was like,
that one easily. Yeah,
I was like, this is. I told you, I was like, I remember when you came and you were like, I was like showing you it, and then I was like, this is a perfect shirt to start off with in screen printing if the back was like the front, or if the front was like the back.
And for me, it's like, again, it depends on the type of artist you are. There's artists that strictly just want 1 or 2 colors, and that's cool with you too, and it saves you money too.
Brands that have just 1 color on
everything,
shirts.
And it saves you money. But for me, it's like that's not my style.
Yeah.
So follow your style again. So that's why it's like, really kind of inform yourself on the type of artist you are and this type of stuff you like to create, and then go from that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's it. What works for me might not work for you, because I'm over here using a lot of colors. You're over here just using 1 or 2. So then hit up this guy right here.
Yeah, you might as well go screen print.
Yeah.
You might, because dude, it will save you money in 1. 2, it'll lead for a better product. I think if you're going white on black, screen print's always gonna be more vibrant, for sure. So it's like, why do 1 color with a DTG? Like DTG, I think, has its advantages for sure in multicolor. For example, the one that you did, where'd it go? This one. Like for example, this one, you have full color images on the back, and it's like, with that, I would definitely go DTG. Even if you did up to 30 to 40, I would probably still go DTG. Just because full high color processed images just simply will come out better with DTG.
100%, because and it's just way more expensive.
I mean, unless you wanted to pay for a 12 color job, then yeah.
Yeah, but no, I promise you, like, even the top companies that are making a lot of money, they wouldn't even want to because do the math, multiply that by how many units, and it's not, especially with at least that type of print. Like, it's just. You're going to have to, I'm pretty sure if you're a screen printer and you're looking at someone's like mock-up that looks like that, you're probably asking yourself, all right, how many colors can I try to tell this guy to drop?
Yeah. And I get it. Like, I get like people are like, oh, this is my brand. I want the highest quality possible. I want it to be super authentic. I don't care how many colors it is. Look, like.
That was my mentality. And look at where it got me. Like, Not even trying to say it won't happen to you, but based off my experience, that mentality got me with two shirts, wasted about close to the 2K,
Yeah.
and a bunch of inventory that I couldn't sell, so I had to give it away.
Like
And
you are a rare, like most people that would have been in your position would have given up.
yeah,
By the first one, honestly.
yeah,
And then by the second one, yeah, it probably like 50% would have given up in that first
yeah.
drop
I
of yours.
guess I
And
could
then it goes lower and lower.
I could lie to you and be like, I never thought of like the idea of like separating myself, but every single time I think of the idea of like closing out my stuff again, think like I rebranded 3 times.
Yeah.
So I had every reason to be like, no, but this idea crept to my head of like, how are you gonna give up on like something that like you're so passionate about?
Yeah.
I feel like that is what breaks me more. Is like money comes and goes. At the end of the day, you can always make more money, but the what if is what kills you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I can easily drop this and just go home and say, fuck it, I'm gonna work a 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
fuck everything else. But
like this is way too hard.
yeah,
And it's
this is way too
hard.
and it's
honestly.
and it is. But at the same time too, I feel like I'd be more upset at the what ifs because later on it could happen. Let's say I drop it and I go home. I say these shirts, I'm not gonna drop them. Fuck it, I'm gonna leave the collection right there. And then in a couple of years, I see some other guy do the same thing, and I'll elevate it more.
No.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's like, man, that could have been
I could.
me.
That was my niche, and then I gave up. But no, I just stay true. And yeah, obviously, like there's gonna be times when roadblocks, like that's when like the mental thing comes in.
They said
a lot.
roadblocks.
Yeah, roadblock, man.
Roadblocks.
Roadblocks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know. I think it's the roadblocks the game.
Oh, roadblock. No,
I was like, what the?
Nah,
what?
nah. Roadblocks. So that's basically barriers or obstacles.
And
in
that
that
they'll
case.
always come. They will always be there.
Yeah, and that's where the mental thing comes in, and that's where the mental side of this game is. I'm still learning it. Again, I'm still fresh. I'm not this like new guy. I mean, this like old veteran guy. Like I'm still new, but I do have from the little time I did this in 2 years, and I have a lot of knowledge. I feel like,
Yeah.
and yeah, man. I think the mental aspect, like, I feel like a lot of the times, like, yes, we get in the mentality, like I guess I'll call it the Andrew Tate mentality, like stop being a bitch, get to work.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, like, yeah, obviously 100%. Like, I do agree with that mentality. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, stay
Yeah.
on your lane, work fucking hard, like, do what other people are too afraid of fucking doing. And while you're over here playing fucking video games, someone else is crushing you in your own shit.
Yeah.
And that shit wakes you up. But at the same time, too, if you genuinely can't overcome obstacle, you're going through something in your life, then at the end of the day, too, like it's also okay to take time off. A lot of people think that you have a brand, and like obviously, yeah, you have a brand, but that's the beauty of starting early because there's been times like where I've stopped for a bit, and some of it was straight up bullshit because I just couldn't handle my own situations, like personal things. And there was some times where I just genuinely needed time to get creative.
Yeah.
Because if not, I was gonna hurt my brand. And just learning how to, I think this is the perfect time right now when you're starting off to, yes, take time off, but to be super real with yourself and ask yourself, like, am I doing it because I need it, or if I'm just like a better terms, I'm being a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's gonna sound rough, and I'm sorry,
but it is what it is.
But
it's
it is
real
what
world.
it is. It's a real world, and you got to be real with yourself because no one's gonna give a shit about you but yourself.
No.
And that's what I just try to tell myself. And it's a learning curve. There's times where I'll be straight up. I'll raise my hand. I'm not even trying to make fun of anyone watching this. Is like there's been times where I've told myself like, no, I took this break because I'm not gonna, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it's like,
gonna,
it is a little bit of a tough thing where like you kind of think to yourself, like, oh, I'm not in the mental space to actually create something good.
No,
and it's sacrifice because you're gonna sacrifice the integrity of the quality.
We're talking about right now the mental game right now. That's what I'm saying. Surround yourself with people that are able to help you out. Like I feel confident. Like if I'm doing something dumb, you're gonna tell me, bro, what you're doing is stupid.
Yeah, I'll look at your content. Like, I'll tell you.
No, like that's the type of people you need to surround yourself with at the end of the day, because those are the people that are going to elevate you. So again, the mental aspect of the game is kind of like really if you need time off, take the time off, but really ask yourself, what can I do better? Actually learn from it, because guess what? While you're over here barely starting off your brand and you're just like, oh, you know what? Like, oh, I'm gonna take a break just because I don't feel mentally ready. Do you think? Right now it's fine because you're not making a lot of money, but when you're at a scale where you're making money, that's going to impact significantly how much you're making for your brand and how well it performs.
Yeah, because the higher you go, the less time you have to kind of like
Yeah, and I'm not. Trust me, I'm not nowhere, no one to give advice on like, because I'm not where I want to be yet. But I have an idea based on the people that I hear and the people that are doing it at a higher scale. Like, if you think stress, and I hear that a lot, and it's true. Like right now, it's tough, and your brand's not even there where it's supposed to be. Imagine when it grows to like now you're making pushing 10K sales, 11K,
No,
15K. Like, nah,
it's not
like
real heat. Like
no, it's nothing. It's
it's gonna
nothing.
get a lot
It's
hotter.
gonna it's gonna get a lot harder. So like for sure, like try to learn from things. Don't just kind of be like, oh, like play the victim all the time.
I mean, that's why I feel like I don't know if it was this podcast, the last podcast that we talked about this, but pacing, where I feel like you kind of have to start slow to where you are able to handle what 10K feels like. Because
Yeah.
it's like like we talked about fulfillment, and it's like fulfillment is tough when you're starting because you're like, especially let's just say if you go from 3 orders to 20 orders, it's gonna feel a little bit overwhelming. It's like, oh, I have to make sure that this size with this
Oh,
t-shirt and this color
100%.
and this
I ask
thing.
myself that every day, man. Every single time when I'm
Yeah,
legit shipping my product, I'm like, I mean, it was hard at first. It
definitely.
was very hard. So the shipping part, I mean, I don't know. That's one thing, a topic we want to talk about, and I don't mind. So I guess I'll start with that. So shipping is another thing too. Okay,
Yeah,
now you have your orders. Now people bought from you.
uh-huh.
All right, now ship those orders.
Yeah,
Okay, so we already know it's going to cost you money to make the shirt. Now it's going to cost you money
to
to
ship.
ship it out. And all that stuff, budgeting is financing and understanding financing. It's something that I'm still trying to get, and I'm pretty sure you're still trying to get better too.
Yeah,
Because it's definitely not easy. Like you got to be able to read numbers and understand where you should be putting your money in. Because then you're going to be asking, "Well, I should have put it on this."
yeah. It's
So
hard
every,
to figure out which one's more
especially
important.
on a clothing brand, because every dollar adds up.
Yeah.
I look when I ship something out, okay, $5 to ship out, and then I look at my grand total. I end up spending like 300, 200.
Yeah.
So it goes up from $5 each. Now I spent overall total. I spent like 200, 300.
Yeah.
So it adds up. So understanding the pricing strategy and leaving room for profit is a big one. Going back into shipping, understanding the systems. Shopify is one thing we talked about. I think anyone that's first starting off, I think Shopify. I mean, I'm not even saying this is not even no paid advertising. We're not
No,
there yet.
we're not sponsored
He
yet.
will get. He will get.
Shopify, hit me up.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think everyone should start with Shopify, and I think
Definitely.
it's integrated specifically for like new people.
It's dedicated for e-commerce.
Yeah, and
if you're selling some shit,
yeah,
you want Shopify.
Yeah, and when I first started it, I'm not gonna lie, it was very intimidating. So expect once you open up your Shopify, and if you do that, it's gonna be intimidating. But again, don't give up there. Like it took me. I'm not even gonna lie, man. That's probably the thing that I probably struggled with the most is setting up my online shop rather than designing. Yeah. It was hard because
Did you learn through YouTube?
Yeah, legit YouTube,
Same.
and it was kind of just integrating it because the nice thing about me is I always think long term, and I think that helps me out because while even though technically I was like, because a lot of people are like, oh, I made my shirt and that's it. No, trust me, when I ordered my first shirts, I already thought about how am I going to ship these out.
Yeah.
I was already thinking about that already, and a lot of people just, oh, I got my shirts already, and then they get in a reality check once they realize they have to pay this much for shipping.
Yeah.
So I already had that into play and everything. So I'm fairly good, but not too expert on that, man. So yeah, definitely shipping, bro, is one of the things that I definitely struggled with, and then the system behind that of like how to properly like ship out the labels and put it in the right package and not send it to the wrong people. Have I ever sent it to the wrong people?
Have you?
You know what? I think I probably have. But you know what, man? To the people that are watching this video, that I can honestly say there's only 2 people.
Yeah.
And I shipped over like, I'd say like 200 plus orders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm not even kidding. I've only messed up twice. And that's honestly not that bad.
That's 1%.
Yeah. So.
Hey, real quick, bro, I need to pee.
Oh, go for it, man.
I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
We're rolling?
We're rolling. Back from the bathroom.
All right. Now, so going back into shipping, man. I think that's one of the hardest things. It was one of the hardest things for me. Just finding out how to integrate orders and how they transform into now like labels. So you do need a label printer, right?
Yeah.
So getting a label printer is.
I got a roll-up printer. What do you got?
What do you mean, like the
label printer?
I got I just got like a regular thermal.
Thermal.
That's what you said you have, no?
I got a Rollo thermal.
No, I got a thermal one. Like what do you mean?
You know what brand?
No, it's it starts with a P. It's from Amazon. I don't know. I just got it off Amazon. It was like 130, and yeah, just a standard. I didn't want to cheap out anything like less, like 50. I just got like it was like from like probably overseas, man. But point is anything that allows you to ship out.
But yeah, you need a label. You need a thermal label printer.
You need a label
if
printer.
you're gonna be printing anything above 5 labels, dude, just like get a label printer.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think even UPS offers if you create an account, and this is a free game as well.
True.
If you create an account with UPS, they give you free supplies.
Yeah.
So
you heard.
if you want free supplies like label, I mean they won't give you a label printer, so you got to buy that, man.
Yeah.
But they'll give you like labels to put in, and if you think about it, that's a lot, man.
I mean, yeah,
that's a lot. I have a whole roll like this big that I haven't even used yet.
Yeah, about 500. I think for 500 labels for $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it adds up.
No,
it adds up,
man. I mean, again, anything adds up in the business. So again, that's a free game right there for you guys. UPS has those things for free, so definitely go ahead and create a UPS account and check it out.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I don't know. It's been pretty long.
Yeah.
But one question I did want to ask you, I wrote this one down. But like, what do you think was? Give me your best day as a clothing brand owner and your worst day as a clothing brand owner.
Best day as a clothing brand owner is for sure when I started dropping like the Hugo Sanchez and the Rafa Marquez shirt. Those shirts really kind of like, I feel like my majority of my followers came from those two drops alone. So I was like the best day. That's when I started realizing again, like I told you, like hype around it. The likes started coming in, the
like
views started coming in. Strangers started liking my stuff. People started commenting for like on my stuff, like DMing me. Interest started going, and I think that's when even other brands that also follow me start even recognizing that as well. Like, oh damn, dude, like this is doing good. So that was a good day. Now a bad day is like, yeah, like I would say my lowest day was probably like, there's this one shirt that I made. It's a Barcelona Messi, Neymar, Suarez. I did pretty shit on it. I ain't gonna lie. Like it didn't do as good as it sold. So if you bought one, you're a real one. And that was probably one of the lowest. That's when I started realizing like, okay, like business is kind of declining. But then again, like that's part of business. So my mentality is always like, yeah, I guess that's my lowest, but that's a hard question for me because like I really have like a very positive mentality that like nothing can bring me down, and that's the reason why, like you said, bro, I don't quit. Like quitting to me is not a reason. Like the day I quit is the day that I'm probably dead. Like straight up, like I can't give up easily because that's something I really enjoy doing, and I think, in my opinion, I just strongly believe it, like from the heart. If you really continue and being persistent and like keep doing it when doors are getting shut in your face, eventually it's gonna come. Yeah. And that one image of like where like the person's literally like mining and like they dip and then they're like one speck from like getting into that diamond.
3 feet from gold.
Yeah, like legit, like a one little thing and then they're already into the diamond. And that's what I try to, every single time I'm thinking of quitting, I just think of that and I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that. Like, no. I'm going to keep doing this until the day that I drop, and that's my mentality going forward. And just willing to take the sacrifices that I need to make, because if you're successful at anything and you're doing anything in this large scale, like you got to sacrifice things, man.
Of course.
And what better way to learn that discipline than right now when you're starting?
I mean, I feel like people are scared of that. Like, oh, I got to sacrifice things. But it's like the things that you sacrifice are only distracting you from life anyways.
Yeah.
Like really, like I don't think those things that you're sacrificing are necessarily beneficial for your life. Like for example, like watching Netflix doesn't necessarily benefit you. The time that you can watch Netflix or watch that TV show or watch whatever, you could be designing.
I think the biggest thing,
that's a good sacrifice.
Personally for me, the biggest thing for me was like where I'm putting my money in terms of like if I go into like if I decide to spend money on going to Universal Studios, we're in California, so Universal, Disney, amusement parks, soccer games, vacations, and yeah, like obviously, like I think about it, like yeah, who doesn't want to have fun? But at the same time, too, it's like I always think that's $800 that I spent could be into my business.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's tough. You're gonna be looked at as like someone that's boring, maybe, but at the end of the day, like it's like that one saying. I don't know who said this, but it's like you're crazy up until you make it. Yeah. Once you make it, everyone's calling you a genius.
Mr. Beast said that.
Mr. Beast?
I mean, he said it.
Was it in the podcast?
No, I remember it was just an interview with him getting interviewed outside in front of a bush.
Mr. Beast, yeah, he said it, but
I'm sure somebody else said it.
But I'm pretty sure someone else said it. I could have heard that many times, but that's one of the things, man, that I heard, and it just stuck with me because it's like, yeah, man. I mean, if those people are calling you or like keeping you to get where you need to get to, then at the end of the day, like cut them off. And that's one thing that I realized, like. If you're alone right now or you feel like you really have no one, but you have a goal that you're trying to get to, like that's probably what God wants for you. And eventually, you're going to be surrounding yourself once you get to where you want to get to with like-minded individuals,
No.
and that's going to be 10 times better, right? And you're going to have to go through that struggle to then get to that point. So that's again going part of the mental game. Another topic I want to talk to real quick is about like, do I need a business debit card or credit card?
I would say yes.
Yeah,
I would get a whole separate bank account.
Yeah.
I didn't get my bank account until probably, I would have said, a year into my business.
Yeah.
I was doing everything on my personal, and then I talked to my tax guy, and he was like, "Yeah, you should separate it." And
Yeah.
honestly, that's probably good advice.
So it's better too, because you don't have to, and it won't really, especially when you start off, do you harm. But it's better to separate your money. That way you can have better control of how much you're getting in and how much your expenses are going. Because once you combine that with your personal stuff, everything's just
It's
crazy.
super ambiguous. You have
Yeah.
no idea what's
Yeah,
what.
so I did that off the bat. So another free game again is I use Blue Vine, not sponsoring, but hey, hit me up, like please.
Blue Vine?
Blue Vine.
Is that what is it?
Blue Vine is a debit card for businesses.
Oh, okay.
So for no fees, no annual fees, no nothing. So it's completely free. They don't charge you any fees a month. And it's what I like about it so much is the fact that you can create obviously you have a checking, a savings, and you can use many sub accounts. So you can create up to like 10, 15 sub accounts. So what I do is, a lot of people don't know, if you make money, the government wants that their cut. So expects to pay sales tax. If you don't know what that is, it's depending on your state. They charge you a certain percentage. So expect to pay that. So I use categories for my sales tax, and I use the categories for, even if you make profit, government still wants to eat from your profit.
Of course.
So that's called income tax. So then you want to save also, I forgot the percentages, but I have it written down for my business. And I make sure out of each profit that I get, I put a certain percentage into that bracket.
Yeah.
So those sub accounts really help me out stay organized and look at the numbers and know, okay, I have this much on sales tax and I have this much on income tax. And whatever's left after that is slowly profit that I'm not going to use for myself. I'm going to put back into my business.
Yeah.
Because then people get screwed over. So I do that. So that's another free game that I give people, Blue Line. And then for credit card, I use, I think I saw, you had Chase. I have Chase too.
I have Chase.
I have Chase Unlimited credit card. That's the one I think you have as well.
I have Chase Unlimited, and then I have Chase Business Premier.
Oh, I don't have. I just have Unlimited. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
But honestly, I wouldn't recommend getting Premier.
That's, you pay annually for that one, right?
Pay annually, and there's also, if you don't meet the specific regulations that they have, the interest is insane. And I talked to the Chase guy, and he was like, "Why do you have this credit card?" And I was like, "I wanted more cash back." He's like, "I mean, yeah, you're right, but at the same time, it's like, it's not worth it." So he told me to cancel it, and yeah.
Any card, it doesn't matter how much you get back. That's what I realized off the bat, because I was looking into that too, and whatever they get back, cash back and stuff, trust me, like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's just a shiny thing.
It's just the same thing they want to say just to get you in. But honestly, get any credit card when you're first starting off, nothing that has fees. That's one thing I told myself.
Yeah.
Anything that has fees, I avoid.
If you can find a card that has, the card that I got, it's 0% interest for the first year or first 12 or 18 months.
Yeah, that's the one I had. I had a deal. Like, usually cards that are free usually have that deal, which is cool. But I mean, yeah, just any card in general that has no monthly fees, because that goes into your expenses again.
Of course.
And you don't want that as a business starting off. So yeah, that's one of the things that I want to share with the people, and yeah.
Yeah, we're spending free game for you.
Nah, man, it's crazy, bro. The stuff that we be saying, like, damn. Yeah.
That's really the goal of this whole thing. I want people. I want people to learn, so I appreciate you putting out.
No, for the people that hit me up and I don't get to them, like I said, like I'm definitely gonna be creating a YouTube video where I kind of show you guys how my process looks like, how I ship orders, and how that comes in the most like transparent way possible. So I can get people to be like, oh, like, damn, this guy's filling out orders in his room. Yeah. That's as real as it gets. Like, a lot of people show them putting like orders in like their crazy ass like mansion, and I'm like, yeah, I'm starting from the bottom, bro. Yeah. But that's the beauty of the game. So yeah, you guys, we're gonna want more game and stuff like that. Definitely, once I make my channel, go follow me on Instagram, Cabreras Clasicos, and I'll definitely be posting that soon.
And then would your YouTube be called Cabreras Clasicos too?
No, so follow my Instagram, Cabreras Clasicos. Definitely you'll get my YouTube channel on that. But it's gonna be strictly my name, Brian Cabrera. So you got me, myself, but everything that I post is strictly gonna be about my business. I just want people to get familiar with me. So that's kind of like creating a channel that's specifically just like me, myself, like the brand owner. Not really like, because everything's gonna be me. Like, you're gonna see a picture of me, videos of me, like it's gonna be me. So that way people can relate more, and they can get to know me.
I mean, definitely, I've heard there's kind of like this like overarching thing where keep on hearing it, but it's like the future of clothing brands is influencer brands. Like a lot of people want to know the owner and they want to know
Yeah,
the story. They want to know everything like that. Those are the ones that are going to be succeeding in the near 5 to 10 year
yeah.
future.
It's hard because I'm not the type of person that does on camera. I'm barely doing it right now, and it's tough. But I think I'm doing okay, and it's just getting over that fear of what people think and just doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not doing it either because that's one thing I realized. Like, if I'm forcing myself to do it because I feel like I have to do it, then
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
But once I got over that fear, and now it's becoming to the point like, no, I want to post YouTube videos because I want people to see. Like, I'm excited to show people like my life and like how like my brand affects my life
Yeah.
and how cool it is. Like, and then people can relate. Like, oh, I want to do that, and then there you go, inspire someone else.
I mean, it's
to-
kind of like honestly with this podcast. Like I've been wanting to do this for months. Like,
Yeah,
ever since I got the shop. So it's been since September. It's been a while, but like at the same time, like I knew that I wasn't forcing myself to do it because every day I would be like, I should start that podcast.
Yeah.
I should start that podcast. It's like it kind of eats at you until you get to do it, and it's like finally, like I'm here. But it's like, for example, with your YouTube, you don't want to force yourself to be like,
No,
I
no,
have to be
no.
the face. I have to do this. It's like,
Yeah, because that's what
you-
everyone else is doing. It's like do it for your own reasons. And like I said, I just want to be unique. And I think you're doing this podcast, right? You get inspired, I'm sure, because other people have podcasts. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure you want to do your own thing.
Yeah,
And you got
I feel like we talked about this in the last podcast that we did. That
yeah,
was not
many
recorded.
times. Yeah,
But like there is holes in the market, and I feel like I haven't necessarily seen a podcast that talked about clothing brands and how like the intricacies of what it is, screen printing methods or printing methods, blanks, and how people think about blanks, cut and sew, like things that I wanted to know when I was 18, like
100%.
things that I was like, man, it's just,
Basically, you're throwing everything all in one, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like for you to do that, like that's like it's unheard of for many reasons, and one of them is gatekeeping, obviously.
gatekeeping is huge in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
industry.
yeah. And like I said, it's unheard of. And I honestly, man, I think at the end of the day, that's people think that the people that think, oh, if I gatekeep, like it's gonna affect me or like
It's gonna benefit.
it's gonna
me.
benefit you. And to a degree, and it's like, dude, like in my opinion, like the fact that you're willing to show them and honestly, like I'm willing to give out free game as well. Like I think that's what makes people grateful and show that we're just human beings, just like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same questions as everybody else when I was starting, and I didn't know it like two years ago. But it's like I have so much information in me that I'm not able to express through Instagram or TikTok or blah blah blah. Like that's why I want people to comment their questions because I want to, dude. I want to just put out as much information as possible.
That's part of life, I think. Because I'm a big believer in faith. I believe in God. I think like if you're given knowledge, like God doesn't just like give you that knowledge just have it in you. You have to let it out.
Yeah,
I mean that's a perfect way of saying it, man. Like I couldn't agree more. And like I said, that's why I'm happy to be in this podcast, man. Be the second video, second episode. But first soccer brand.
True.
I'll take that. I'll take that. First soccer brand on here, man.
Trust me, you're very appreciated from me. I appreciate you coming on, for real. Like this has been fantastic.
Nah, man, amazing.
I know. I hope that you guys are getting something out of this because I think we put so much game out there.
Oh hell yeah, man. There's a lot of things that I gave out to you guys, and hopefully it can help you guys out. And what better way than do it on your podcast, bro? I'm excited.
All right, bro. So last question. I know I asked this last time, but I do. I'll give a little bit of a different spin on it. Like, if you're gonna be looking back of when you wanted to start your clothing brand, I'm not sure if it was when you were 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, let's say for the person that did start the Jim Carrey.
No.
Let's say you're talking your Jim Carrey version of yourself, and also like just say like if one of these people that are watching or starting their brand or haven't even started, what kind of advice would you give out to your version of you and to somebody that's starting right now?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone's asked like different way of seeing things and to be different. Like my way is simple, and we talked about it, and I've said this before to you. Again, it goes down to simple saying, and it's basically
Simple is better.
Simple, yeah, simple, super simple. But there's a deeper meaning. Anything that's simple and has a deeper meaning, that's it. So basically, be a man of your word. Mm-hmm. So again, like if you would have asked the Brian that made the Jim Carrey shirt, be a man of your word. My initial thought is, okay, if I'm gonna tell you something, or I'm gonna tell this person something, that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I have to be a man of my word and do it. It's like, nah, dude, like whatever you say to yourself, be a man of your word to yourself.
Like the promises.
The promises that you make to yourself are more important than the promises you make to others. because that's what's going to set you apart to yourself. Because I think at the end of the day, we're all chasing to make people happier, to prove something wrong. But at the end of the day, there's no bigger person than to prove right than yourself.
No, exactly.
That's it. So that's my saying to everyone else is, again, be a man of your word, and again, be a man of your word to yourself. And that goes a long way. And I think that's what kept me not giving up many times that I could have given up. Rebranded 3 times, didn't know the process, but I'm still here and I'm still trying to make it work, man. So again, all glory to God. That's it. That's all I can do. All glory to God. I stay firm on my faith, and everything that I do is through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, bro. So yeah, that's it.
All right.
All right, cool.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys have any questions, for him, follow him on Instagram, Cabreras Clasicos. Watch out for that YouTube channel that he's going to have.
Yep.
But Brian,
Pleasure,
I appreciate
man.
you, bro. I appreciate you. All right, episode 2.